This is about us being grown-ups and being respectful of other people's positions and feelings and taking a moment to inhale and digest what the hell they're saying and deciphering what's true and what isn't true before we take a position.
Say what? Stephen A. is speaking out on behalf of black conservatives?
So in other words, the vast majority of black Americans in this country, particularly since 1964, have basically said, the right, you know what? You ain't worth a damn. We don't like you. We don't trust you. So guess what?
Facts.
We ain't giving you our vote.
Facts.
We can't come together for shit.
Yeah, it won't be long before you get all the, Uncle Toms, the coon, the Porsche Negro, the house Negro, the bootlicking, the tap dancing for the white man. Yeah, Stephen, you can't agree with no conservatives now, especially with the black ones now, brother. Now, welcome to the tribe of sellouts. How are you guys all doing? Welcome to the channel. I am Ty Smith. You're watching my channel, Modern Renaissance Man. Appreciate you guys taking your time out your day to view my content. Make sure that you're following me on all the platforms you see above and the ones below, and hitting this like button right here is how my content can consistently be recommended to you. And make sure that when you do subscribe to the channel, that you hit the bell notification. That way you should be notified when I do go live. So ladies and gentlemen, some of my friends spoke out to me and reached out, said, Ty, Stephen A is one of those guys that I think you talk about a lot whenever you say that you're not a Democratic, that you're not Republican, you just who you are. Stephen A seem to kind of say the same things like you, but instead they say that he votes left and you seem to be voting right. As in right versus wrong, not right. Anyway, point being, apparently Stephen A has come out and he is taking up for black conservatives. And this caught a lot of my subscribers' attention because they told me, please do this, Ty, you got to do it. And I did what y'all said. They said, wear the Trump hat in the midst of doing it. But they said, you got to hear what Stephen A has to say. So let's get ready to roll right on into it and see what Stephen A is talking about.
Let me get back to the issue, however, of black conservatives. And I've touched on this subject on many, many occasions, and I'm going to touch on it now, but never before have I touched on this subject the way that I'm going to right now.
Uh-oh. He about to get himself in trouble.
There's a lot of times it could be a Candace Owens. It could be a Larry Elder.
A Ty Smith.
To a lesser degree, it could be a Byron Donald. I remember Armstrong Williams. He's been out there for many, many years. I've known him for many, many years. Even to a lesser degree, somebody like Sage Steele, who used to work at ESPN and now, helped the Trump campaign. And who knows, for all we know, I don't think she's interested in it, but who knows? She might end up being press secretary one day. I don't know. Whatever it is, I hope she does well. I wish her well. Sage and I got along. Let me say this. Over the years,
y'all feel something coming?
We've seen a level of vitriol emanating from black conservatives to a point where people who are not conservative vilified them because of it.
Uh-oh.
I was never down with that. I'm a registered independent who primarily votes Democrat. There have been several occasions I've been tempted to vote Republican, to vote conservative. Hell, some of the times I regretted I did it.
Like this time? Y'all, Stephen A voted for Trump. He tricking y'all. He voted for Trump.
And who knows what the future holds with me with some of the nonsense that I saw from the left, particularly leading up to this election with woke and cancel culture and all of that stuff. But that's a different story for another day. Here's the point that I want to make. While finding myself wishing that the inordinate amount of black conservatives that have been out there and are still out there will sort of dial back their vitriolic responses to the venom that's been thrown in their direction.
Y'all know he's not talking about me. I take that. I X me out. He's not talking about me. Y'all, I hit back, and I hit back harder than what I've been hit with.
I've rarely blamed them. Because you got people in here looking at folks from the conservative side who happen to be black, calling them sellouts and coons and all of these kind of negative connotations, showing them no respect as human beings just because you don't agree and side with their ideology. Who the hell are you? Listen, most of my friends are liberal. Some of them are conservatives. I have no problem with any of them. All I want to hear is what your point of view is and why.
Facts. But see, a lot of people have a hard time doing that, Stephen. A lot of them have a hard time doing it. They can't fathom that anybody thinks differently than them. They can't fathom that somebody have a different moral values and principles than them. But nevertheless, let's continue on.
And if you make sense and it's fact-based and it's not dominated by emotion trying to usurp the facts, I'm good with you. Even if I don't agree with you. Because I know your position is based on fact.
Hey everybody, so I'm interrupting this real quick just to let you guys all know, those of you that have been asking how can you help and how can you donate towards the children to help children have Christmas, the ones that are involved under the mentorship of me, you can easily do it by donating to my PayPal or the Cash App right up there. And again, let me reiterate this, folks. I don't want you guys to feel any pressure. If you do, great. If you do not, great. I just want you guys to know that that window is open right there for the ones who keep texting me, the ones who keep emailing me. That way everybody else can see it as well. It does not matter because I make sure that the kids get taken care of anyway. But some of my subscribers who have been consistently and have been loyal in donating there, I know you guys always ask me to remind you to do it. So here is your reminder. And everybody else, to the rest of you, no matter what you do, whether you do or don't, I hope you guys all have a Merry Christmas.
And for folks,
I gotta say something on that part though. How is it that you can say that? Not necessarily Stephen A, but anybody that might say that same type of phrase that he's saying. How can you say such things that if they speak in facts and you don't agree with it? Then again, I can understand to a point. Because if it's been times where somebody has spoken facts to me and I didn't agree with them, but I do tell them I don't agree only because I don't know that. When I go and study what you're talking about and we come back and talk about it, I'll tell you, you know what? You were right. So I can understand a little bit of what he's saying, but he didn't articulate it like I just said it, because to me, if somebody hitting you with facts, there is no, I might disagree unless you know it's a scenario like what I just gave you guys. Plus, y'all know Stephen A is my cousin, by the way. I don't know if y'all knew that. You see Ty Smith, Stephen A. Smith. No, I'm just joking. Let's keep going. Keep it rolling.
Outside of the conservative community, to look at people who are black, your position is good with you. Even if I don't agree with you. Because I know your position is based on fact. And for folks outside of the conservative community, to look at people who are black and excoriate them just because they're conservative. Who the hell are you? Where are your facts? There's a lot of history that goes into stuff. You can see it one way or another, but it's undeniable that bipartisanship played the role. Civil rights legislation, voting rights legislation, affirmative action, and things of that nature. Conservatives did play a role in some good things that happened in our society.
Conservatives played the biggest role in allowing us Negroes to vote. The Republicans did. Conservatives, the Republicans, played the biggest role. And the reason why black folks are walking around here, give us free, because you had conservatives, Republican, you had white people who were willing to kill other white people in order for black people to be free. You had white people who were willing to die and risk their lives Underground Railroad. You had white people who were willing to die, to be lynched, burned, and hung just like black people by the KKK, because they wanted to put black folks and make sure that they had their fair share in trying to get into political positions. Yes, KKK wasn't just created just to go after blacks. They went after whites too, for whites daring to help individuals like us. But that's for another video. Let's keep going.
The left and Democrats have been hypocritical in certain respects. So if we're going to call balls and strikes, call balls and strikes. But we didn't do that. And we never do that when it comes to black conservatives. And don't use this as an opportunity to say, Stephen A., oh, he's a conservative. Well, damn it, I'm not yet, but I might be one day. Because I don't like the shit I've been seeing. But my voting record says otherwise. This is not about that. This is about us being grown-ups and being respectful of other people's positions and feelings and taking a moment to inhale and digest what the hell they're saying and deciphering what's true and what isn't true before we take a position.
They can't do that, Stephen A. C, because that entails for you to actually have to think. You have to be able to think to do what you just said. And a lot of them don't do that because they're so brainwashed by the psychological psyops that has been bestowed upon them through mainstream media, through the news, through the repetitions of things that have been said to them to continuously put this stuff into the subconscious. It gets so embedded in their subconscious that they go out and act out these things. It becomes a part of their behavior. It becomes a part of their attitude. And in the end, becomes a part of their character. And they can't even have the mental capacity or even the mental critical thinking to peel back the layers and realize that they were completely deceived by mainstream media.
It's important that we do that, but we haven't been doing that. And then we wonder why black people in this country are the one disenfranchised community that exists in this country. You know why? Because we don't demand that you flatter us. Let me explain my position even further. If you go to buy a house, do you buy it without looking at it, walking through it, probing and investigating before you decide to make that investment? Do you do something like that with a car as well?
No. Only difference is you can't test drive a house though. Anyway.
Don't you do it with clothes? Don't you do it with any purchase that you get? But when it comes to politics, no such thing. So in other words, the vast majority of black Americans in this country, particularly since 1964, have basically said, the right, you know what? You ain't worth a damn. We don't like you. We don't trust you. So guess what? We ain't giving you our vote. We can't come together for shit.
Stephen A., I don't care what you said. That red pill is like in your esophagus right now. Like go ahead and drink some more truth water to allow that red pill to just go all the way down into your stomach. Let it get into your stomach and let the hydrochloric acid in your stomach digest that red pill so that those the red pill sustenance can get out there and go through your duodenum, get into your small intestines and absorption take place so it can get all over your body. Go ahead, Stephen, just swallow. Y'all, he's speaking facts though. I'm agreeing with everything he's saying right now.
Politics, no such thing. So in other words, the vast majority of black Americans in this country, particularly since 1964, have basically said, the right, you know what? You ain't worth a damn. We don't like you. We don't trust you. So guess what?
Facts.
We ain't giving you our vote.
Facts.
We can't come together for shit under most circumstances. But suddenly with politics, 85, 90%, etc. Oh, we gonna roll with the left. So what you've done is you've disenfranchised yourself. Why? Because the left know they have your vote and you're not going anywhere. And boom, you don't have to cater to African American needs. And on the right, you're like, we ain't getting their vote anyway. So let's pay attention to the constituent that's going to put us in office.
What I tell y'all, I told you guys, and guys, I think that's why we did so good in Illinois. Relentlessly, I went around speaking at all these engagements from the north to the south, telling the Republicans the reason why y'all losing so bad. Number one, y'all don't know how to fight. I would always say, where's that fighting spirit that you guys had of your forefathers who were willing to die for black people so black people can be free? Why aren't y'all steady doing that now? I say, y'all know what? Y'all never needed the black vote to win. Therefore, y'all just didn't care. As long as you go and get your other constituents, get your other friends, whether they be white, Mexican, Latino, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. Y'all never needed the black vote to win. Therefore, you didn't care to go and get it. The only person, even though he did not need the black vote to win, but the point is, by him reaching out and going for them, it showed that he cared. Y'all don't understand that, do you? That's what made Trump so different. That's why I voted the first time in my entire life. I voted for Trump. I said, wow, he actually reached out to get the black people on board, to help the black people, because he didn't need black people to win. Even this election, he did not need black people to win. But in the last election in 2016, when he did win, he was the only one. He actually reached out. Out of all Republicans, he reached out, even though he didn't need it. That's important.
Either way you slice it, this one gives you little representation because they're taking you for granted. This one gives you little representation and no representation because they know they don't have your support anyway. And why are the other communities successful? Because I don't give a damn whether it's Cuban, it's Dominican, it's Venezuelan, it's Guatemalan, it's Puerto Rican, it's Mexican. I don't care what it is. You're Asian. You're the Jewish community.
Uh-oh.
An abundance of white folks in the United States of America. Somehow, some way, everybody successfully goes about the business of making sure they tell you, show us you're worthy of our vote before we give it to you.
And we don't.
And as a result, you have to cater to them. We don't do that.
Nope. Collectively, no.
We don't do that. And that's where we made a mistake. And even though black conservatives may not do that to the degree that we like, in the end, what they're doing is they're bucking the system. They're saying we're not going to just buy what you're selling.
Facts.
The other side might have more of what we want. And some of them did that in this election with Trump. And now the Democrats have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how can you appeal to more African Americans and more folks in the Hispanic community and beyond to regain the luster that you thought you had, but you evidently lost. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, even when things look bad, there's light at the end of the rainbow. You know what that light is?
White people.
Believe it or not, Donald Trump winning the election because it forced everybody to stand up and pay attention and recognize that you no longer get to engage in hate mongering and fear mongering to win an election. You actually got to go out there and win it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was probably one of the best things I've heard come out of Stephen A. and is absolutely something that I think I'm so glad that America may just be getting back to the point where we actually do sit around and discuss our differences and opinions and just try to come to some compromise and just move on with life. At least we know that we agree to disagree and we moved on. But to get to the point to where you are actually trying to strong arm a person on a mental level to get you to vote for them and everything like that, absolutely not. Hey, hats off. Hats off to Stephen A. right there on that. And at the same time, like he said, you can't tell him what to do. He might vote Republican, he might vote Democrat. Heck, he might be conservative. Who knows? It all depends on what's at stake for all of us. Man, that was a good little breakdown he did right there, folks. And get ready, Stephen A., because I guarantee his comment section is going to be filled with who paid him. Who paid him? Oh, yeah, you know, they got to him. What Trump do to him? Oh, he just trying to do this. He just making sure that his show don't get deplatformed. That's what's going on. Oh, here we go, another tap. He's about to get it all, and it does not matter because a lot of people like me, Stephen A., a lot of black conservatives that are very successful, we going to do and say, regardless of what you think of us, period. We there. We made it there. And how is it that I'm supposed to sit there and act like I'm supposed to care about what somebody who's way down there on a mental level, I'm not even talking social economics, like my guy Chicago, DeMarco, Jim Stones. Success is not defined by what you got, but by the things you overcome when you've been through a lot. I love that right there. But my point that I'm making, I'm working on getting people to get on this level of thinking. And that way of thinking brings about success. But if all you do is complain about this, that, we can't get ahead, this, that, there you're going to remain. And the other people that may be successful, that's bringing in a lot of good money, their job is to keep that money flowing in by telling you that to keep you from getting on a level that they are at. I'm all about elevating people to get to the same social economic status, if not higher than that which I am. But if you got people who going around and you see them steady making money while everybody else in that same community is not on the come up, something's wrong with that. And that applies to churches too. God gonna give you the blessing. God gonna give you the increase. Why does it seem like it's only the pastor or some of the people up there on the preachers and ministers on them? Why does it seem like they're the only ones getting the money and the cars and everything, but the rest of the flock seem to be just looking crazy and desolate? Oh, but yet they're gonna keep on telling you, but God's gonna do it. He's gonna, while the whole time y'all suffering and y'all know it. If there is no growth for you under a leadership, it flows from the leadership, and I would change that, plain and simple. Anyway, shout out to Stephen A. for right there. breaking that down. And again, I know that red pill is in his throat. He just need to go ahead and drink that water truth to get it further on down. You guys let me know what you think of this by putting it in the comment section after this video. Don't forget to do what you guys see in that cloud right there if you would, please. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, pray every last one of you guys are in great health mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.